Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Knitting Noodle Podcast. Today I have a few new items. The things I said I was going to work on, I did not work on. I think every artist has a problem with starting something new when they should be finishing something instead. So that's what I did. I started a bunch of new stuff. So since the last podcast, I have done a fair. I sold a few things. Right now I am dropping a whole bunch of new things into my Etsy shop. I've been doing one every single day for the past 5 days. Today is day 6. And yeah, I actually have one of the things I'm showing is going to be entering the Etsy shop probably next week, which I'm excited to finish up. And then I'm also gonna share a few ideas that I had, because I had some really good ideas that I want to get out there, get some opinions on, I guess, or some feedback, or maybe other people can throw some more ideas out. So that'll be towards the end, I guess, some ideas. Yeah, I'll throw that at the end, after I show everything. So let's just, I guess, get right into it, because there's not much gossip really that's been going on. Hi, future me here. I realized as I was editing that I never introduced myself for people who might be stumbling across my videos for the first time. My name is Adira. I am the owner, founder of Knitting Noodles and Wolf Baby Boutique, which is where I sell my knit goods and other handmade baby items. So, disclaimer, almost all the things that you'll be seeing ever knit on this podcast are all baby-based related focused. So like toys, baby clothing, baby sweaters, all that jazz. So if you're expecting fully grown knit projects, I don't have the patience for that. So let's get back to the podcast part. So I'll just get right into it with finished objects. I have 1, 2, 3. One of these I showed already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 finished objects. One of them I forgot to show last time. So, or I think if I did show, oops. I'll start with that one. I don't think I showed it because I'm pretty sure I finished it like not that long, or like right as the podcast after I published it. I'm pretty sure. But this is what I finished. Another super cute baby hat. I'll insert a little picture of what it looks like because you can't really tell on here, but it's like a little pointy Nordic hat. It is a Finnish, I don't remember what Scandinavian country, but it's a translated pattern, so it actually is Scandinavian. I really like how the colorwork ended up looking. There's some funky spots in there, but I think the funkiness kind of makes it look even cooler. But my son wears this a lot. Super cute, and it's really warm. It's made of superwash. I think just regular wool. I don't think it specifies. Which is nice, because if it gets dirty, I can actually throw it into the wash on a gentle cycle. If it was untreated wool, then you'd have to hand wash. Still wouldn't put this in the dryer though. Alright, so that is the first object. Let me know if I showed this already, because I do not remember. The other finished object, I showed one of these, and it was actually on the needles. this, I made a second one. Super cute little baby mittens. Look how adorable those are. Unfortunately, my son is too big for these. Otherwise, I 1000% would have him modeling these. I want to try to modify this pattern because this is from Pearl Soho and it is only from size 3 to 6 months. So I want to try modifying or finding another pattern that includes a thumb so I could run it a little bigger. But I love this so much, how thick they are and warm. It's taking fingering weight yarn. I think it's fingering. One is fingering, right? Whatever. One weight one. And it's doubling that up, so holding double. And then you knit like that, and it makes these adorable little mittens. So that's another one that I finished. Again, these are super wash, so throw them in the washer for a gentle cycle and good to go. Also, I feel like it's all outerwear. You don't really want to put it in the dryer anyway. So still gonna hang dry these. I might or might not add these to my Etsy shop. Maybe. We'll see. As an idea. And I also showed these. These were on the needles last podcast. I finished them in time for the craft fair. These little rustic looking snowmen. I think they're pretty cute. They're very squishy, hard, something to grip onto. And they look very dopey, but that almost makes them cute. This one especially, with his eyes all close together and crooked. I kind of like them like that. Imperfect. But these are what I made. This one is cotton and linen. I ran out of this yarn, so this one is actually a cotton and polyester blend that I had accidentally bought. I thought it was 100% cotton, but it wasn't. So this guy is not as soft as this one. A lot rougher. But I like how well stuffed they are. And I have these on my Etsy shop. All the ones that you see, these two were the models, but anyone you buy is going to be that cotton and linen blend. This one is staying probably for craft fairs in the future, because I don't like selling plastics on my Etsy. I try to avoid plastics, and I want to lean towards organic, but right now I want to work through the stash that I have before purchasing new. So I also, sustainability, I don't want to feed into the, I guess, capitalistic, materialistic side of the yarn thing. So gonna work through my stash first before I start adding organic options. I also need to start working at unraveling some sweaters and using the yarn from that for some stuff. So that's also another thing that I want to push, repurposing yarn. So these finished. And then this I literally finished. They didn't sell, kind of sad. I finished literally at the night of the craft fair. Like, the craft fair ran for 2 days. So after day 1, I made both of these. They're little Christmas mice. They're cat toys. They're stuffed with organic catnip. Both of these, they're marled. At least this one's marled. One of them is a mystery blend. It was unlabeled at a thrift store. Pretty sure it's something nylon polyester-y, just from the feel of it. Probably with some cotton thrown in. But the white that it's marled with is the cotton and linen. I'm probably not going to add these onto my Etsy shop. Just because because they were last minute makes, I don't really think they're put together as well as they could be. So let me know in the comments if you think they're cute, and then I'll put a modified, better put together version on the Etsy shop. And maybe we'll do some different types of hats. I just put those on because Christmas. They're pretty well secured, so I know my cats like biting and ripping things, especially yarn. A lot of stuff that, there's one down there, that they've bit through. Had to, as I'm working on it too. But these are pretty well secured, so even if your cat starts gnawing on it, it shouldn't be going anywhere. They shouldn't be eating the hats, because they are well attached. And there are, I think, more than one knot, so shouldn't be falling off. So that's these. And then, I'm really excited about this. I decided after my last craft fair that I needed something as a high ticket item to kind of help buffer me, because my friend does crochet baby blankets and they don't sell as often, but if she does sell one, then that covers half to the entire table depending on how much we spent. So I decided to try my hand at a sweater, and I made my very first sweater. I think it's absolutely adorable. I don't remember the pattern name. I think it's like the, oh boy, chestnut sweater, something like that. I'll have the name down below, and I'll try to link it, see if it works. Otherwise, I'll have the name written so you could look it up on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, but look how adorable it is. The pattern says for the main color to have that also as the back panel, but I had some stray orange and I wanted it more patchworky and like bold colors, bright colors. So that's what I ended up doing. And then this red is because I ran out of orange literally right at the end with like, I think less than 10 rows to go. So I pulled out some red and did that. And then to make it not look as random, I also made the collar red, which I was kind of worried that it would be too random, wouldn't really fit. But it actually, I tried it on my son, even though it's way too small. It looks super cute on him. Like, this is, it's supposed to be 12 months, but this is more like 9 to 12 months. Like 12 months is kind of pushing it. But it almost looks like a football, like 80s type jacket with the red on there. Because it has the, almost like a shoulder stripe. So I think this is really cute. And then I'll go into almost finished, and then I'll mention a sweater that I started but I had to take apart. But this was actually really fun. It did take a while, but I never realized, I always thought sweaters were intimidating. It's actually really easy because you just work in pieces. So this, just a block, 2 blocks for the front, and then 2 blocks for the arms. And then you just sew it all together. I mean, that's the tedious part, is the sewing, not even the knitting. But it was actually really relaxing working on it. Like I always have problems with bigger projects because I get bored, and I like quick knits so I could get the feeling of accomplishment. But honestly, the process of this was really just relaxing. I was just zoning out, watching shows, or just sitting on the couch. zoning out, just knitting, and it was great. I actually really enjoyed that. I'm definitely going to be making more sweaters. Then to get into almost finished, I don't have a finished one to show because that actually sold at the craft fair. These are an almost finished pair. They are wool felted booties. These are just a placeholder for the felting process. So basically, this is what they look like when you knit them up. You knit them flat. I just have them attached to each other with a stitch marker. But yeah, you knit them flat like that. They're really cute. Then you sew it up, and then you do a felting process. So for that, for felting, all you need is warm water. You need a little bit of wool soap, and you need a whole lot of scrubbing. And you can see how the stitches almost disappeared. This one I was going for a bigger size, so I didn't felt it down as much as I should have. I kind of want to do a second run on this one, just to make it more, I guess, of a flat surface, if that makes any sense. I want to get rid of the little ridges that you can still kind of see. So I'm going to go through another process, and then just yarn on camera, or fibers. And then after that, for that process, you want a holding yarn, because there are yarn overs in there. You want a holding yarn like cotton that won't felt, and then you thread like a cute little ribbon on it, and then you have a little baby booty. Like I said, the one that I already had made ended up selling. So I'm going to be adding these to my Etsy shop as soon as I finish. I'm going to do 2, this is a larger size, this is a larger size. So the larger size is 3 to 6 months, or 6 to 9 months. I have to double check. Also, it depends on what I felt it down to. I have a little like foot measurer, so I double check with that to make sure foot size. And there is a, if you look up online, you look up what shoe size, like size 1 all the way to 5, it gives you the corresponding months, like 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months for each numerical shoe size. So I double check with that as I'm working, like felting it down until I get to the desired shoe / month size. And I'll have both listed on the Etsy listing, so you know the numerical size and the month size. Because I know some babies have bigger feet than others. My son was little, he had like really big feet. Now he has tiny feet. He's 18 months, but he still almost fits into like a 12-month shoe. So that is almost finished. I don't really have any other almost finished right now. And then on my needles, super boring. I'm just working on the last baby booty. I'm making another small size. I'm gonna have 2 of each before I put it up on my Etsy. These are for Valentine's Day, nice red, and I'm gonna put little hearts on them. Just gonna be cute. And then I'll talk about the sweater that I was making. So I'll insert a picture over here. This is how far I made it. I was loving it. It was so cute. I modified a pattern. I know, I've only made 1 sweater and I'm already modifying, but I really, really wanted to do color work on it. So I decided to make up my own color work and work that in as I'm going. And it turns out that I think it's called catching the flies, I think, whatever, carrying the color over, I accidentally made it too tight. So I had on the shoulders, I was making 2 colorwork stripes with hearts, like to go down the shoulder, down the sleeve. What ended up happening was the stripes were white, the actual sweater was a pinkish color. And then I instead of using 2 different balls for the shoulders, which I should have done, what I did is I used one and I just carried it across and around as I was working. That ended up not being that good because the shoulder stripes, maybe if I was working on other stuff in between, like adding like hearts or something on the yoke, it would have been fine. But the fact that it was just these 2 and then just strands across was making it way too tight. There was no stretch, and this is a pullover sweater, so it just wasn't working, and it's for an infant size. So I had to take it apart because there's no way that a little baby is gonna be able to get on this really stiff, not stretchy at all sweater. So I'll put in a video of my pain and suffering as I had to take it apart. Alright, that was good enough. It was so cute. It's just not stretchy enough. But I'm gonna be reworking that and hopefully having that out before Valentine's Day because I have a super cute idea for it. The other thing I've been working on is, like I said, I really want to do colorwork stuff. Like, colorwork is so cute. So what I've been doing is I've been on Pinterest and I just find colorwork patterns that I like. There was one that's actually like a pattern background thing on like Shutterfly for like business cards or Christmas card type thing. So I actually zoomed in and was able to actually count the stitches in the digitized knitting pattern, and I transcribed it to be my own color work. This I really want to add somewhere. This probably more of like a hat. I don't know about like a sweater. Kind of like more of like a brim thing or like a strip of it. But I really like how that looks. It's very cute. And then the other one, this actually was from a Russian colorwork pattern. Could not understand when I clicked on it. It took me to the, I think, blogging site. So I was able to see a very pixelated graph and then it as a like knit up. I'll put the picture over here. But I zoomed up on the pattern and transcribed it myself. As you can see, it is a large color work. I honestly didn't even have enough to add up here. I had to glue like 3 different sheets and it didn't help because I was using older graph paper. So I tried newer ones, but the boxes didn't line up. So then I had to take another one. So first of all, this wasn't wide enough, so I had to cut a strip off another one and glue it on the side over here. And then I took the one that I cut off, cut it in half, and glued it up here. Then I still didn't have enough, so I cut a little bit off the bottom and put it up top. And it's still not big enough. But I really like that looks amazing. Like, I might not be able to do the full thing, but definitely that flower, I'm going to be taking that and putting it on a few things because that looks amazing. And you can see there's quite a few mess ups as I was drawing this up. Anywhere you see a black dash, that was a mess up. But that took like a day to do both of these. But a lot of my stuff you will be seeing more color work on because that's something that I've been really wanting to do because I haven't worked anything with color work before. So the fact that I decided to make a sweater, having no experience with colorwork and just making it up myself. I like chaos. Chaos knitting. But yeah, and then we won't mention the stuff from last time because I didn't touch it at all. The sock and the baby pants. I haven't touched those at all. I was supposed to, but I started a new sweater instead. And then the Christmas tree pattern, I ended up using the yarn for something else. So I ended up cutting it. And I probably am not coming back to this. At least for a year. Either way, I don't really like how I was envisioning it. So I'm going to try a new angle at some point. But that one, I'm not going to be finishing. Alright, and then into ideas. I think it was last night, I was brainstorming with my brother and his girlfriend to see what was hip with the kids these days, what would sell. Because I have been trying to get my Etsy shop off the ground for a little over a year now, and it hasn't been working. So I have to ask the kids who spend the money what they would buy. So a few ideas that I heard or that I agreed with for them. And my problem is my shop is baby things or baby items, so I need to find a way to twist everything into an infant item or somehow centered around babies in some way. So they said scrunchies. Scrunchies are popular right now, apparently. I have this one right now that I made. And so since I am baby centered, I was thinking of doing like mommy and me matching scrunchies, but it's just gonna be a big and a small scrunchie. So it could also just be for people who want like a small scrunchie for like a half up, or a big scrunchie, or it can be for like mother and baby matching. So that was one idea that I'm gonna be probably adding soon. Hopefully before Valentine's Day, because I think that would be a really cute thing to have for Valentine's Day. And then another idea, it was a few like unusual stuffed animals. So I think one of them said otters, which also someone had requested at one of the craft fairs that we did. Like some weirdly random stuffed animals. And then the other one said a bat, and they sent me like an example pattern that was absolutely adorable that I really need to figure out how to do because it was so cute. And it honestly looked really easy. So, gonna look into bats because that was so cute. It was like a little pear body and then like little wings. Adorable. Definitely gonna be figuring that out at some point. And then what was another one? Fingerless gloves apparently are popular. I would have to get that out before winter is over. Another thing popular is leg warmers. And they said to make the fingerless gloves and the leg warmers a matching set. Now for this, I probably would have to offer a range of sizes. So like probably baby up to adult. Now the good thing with that they kind of got me like excited about is the fact that my brother that I was talking to and one of my younger sisters are fairly well-known ice skaters, like Team USA well-known, and they offered that my sister can do the modeling for the stuff and I could use that as advertising. So a little nervous for how many people will be seeing that, but also excited because that will definitely bring some attention my way. And then that also, if I have a range of sizes, because they are ice skaters, could target that for like the coaches getting gifts for their students, or students getting gifts for their coaches. I was also thinking of like a neck warmer thing, because my siblings have like these, I forget what they're called. They're called something, whatever, but like not a scarf, but like you can cover your mouth and nose with it. So like a tighter scarf, almost like a collar extension type thing. So I was thinking maybe making a few of those as well, because that's really easy. It's literally just a tube. Basically a hat without the top. That's kind of like the same size. So I might be adding that as well. And the fact that they're skaters means that I don't have to finish that technically before winter is over, because the ice skaters use that all year round. So that's something at some point soon that I'm gonna be looking into or trying to do. But yeah, that's kind of all I have idea-wise. I mean, let me know down below what you'd be interested in purchasing, like what you haven't seen around that you do want, or like trends. Because the fact that I sell stuff, I get a different like trending thing than people who are purchasing stuff. So like, for example, Instagram, the fact that I knit and I look at a lot of patterns and I look at a lot of inspiration photos, I get like different recommendations on my search bar than someone who doesn't knit and doesn't know a lot about that stuff. So, I mean, people who'd be willing to purchase. What would you like to see? I also heard like do-it-yourself kits, so like a learn to knit kit. I don't think I have enough of my own patterns though to really do that. I could do like a few knick-knacky things. I have a lot of my patterns already like for free below a lot of my videos, so I don't know if that would work. I mean, if I also included like the amount of yarn that you would need, the needles you would need, I don't know if you'd be interested. That's an idea. And then steering away from knitting, just a quick little thing about books and shows. I have not finished anything since the last podcast. I am almost finished with Fire Force. There's only 2 seasons out on Hulu. I don't know if there's more seasons coming out. I have to look into that. Or if there are other seasons out, just Hulu doesn't have it. But I'm almost done with that. There's only 2 seasons. It got really good at the end of season 1. Like, it took halfway through season 1 to really get good. And now I'm hooked and I can't stop watching. I really haven't been watching anything else. I've been listening to a lot of And That's Why We Drink podcast on Spotify. That one is a usual listen for me. And then watching a few knitting podcasts. Needles at the Ready, obviously. I love their chatty episodes. And then I've been trying out a few other podcasts. Nothing's really like grabbed me yet. I'm gonna try a few more and see if I can find someone I like. I think it's just harder for like the single people like me, because it tends to be more boring than if there's 2 people like going back and forth and chatting. So maybe I'll see if my friend would be interested in doing podcast episodes, her with her crocheting and me with my knitting. That might be fun. I'd have to check with her though. And then reading wise, I've kind of been bored of the book that I'm working on, so I haven't finished that yet. The book I'm reading right now is Queen of Ruin. It's book 4, I believe, of the, I think it's Crown of Ruin series. I don't remember if it's Crown or Throne of Ruin. No, first book is A Ruin of Roses. So, A Ruin of Something is the series. I think it's by K.F. Breen. I'll add it over here if I'm wrong. But, I don't know if it's because I've outgrown the series or if this book just isn't as good as the other ones. But it's just so slow and boring. I mean, the characters are great. Love the characters. It might have been just that the other ones are based off of a lot of shock factor, and I just got used to the shock factor, so it's not as grabbing as it was. A lot of the language, it is a dirty, it is an adult romance with some steam in there. Quite a lot of steam. So, no children reading that book, please. But I don't know if it's because the language was just shocking at first. That's why I liked it so much, because it was just, it didn't care about being artistic. It just used crude language when it wasn't necessary. And I think at this point, because I have read a lot of books that were artfully done, the shock factor isn't grabbing me as much. And a lot of times I am kind of like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that usage of the word, or usage of the phrase, whatever, or that was unnecessary there. So, I don't know. It's just not as interesting. I am more than halfway done. Right now, my rating stands at like a 3 out of 5. I'll see if it changes towards the end, because it is setting up to be like a really good ending, or like, what would it be called? The plot. It's setting up the plot to be really good. Like, it hasn't like got to the intense part yet. But we'll see if it gets better. Right now it stands at a 3. I'll update that ranking in the next podcast, because I definitely will be done it by then. And then Fire Force, I think last time, I don't remember if I gave it a rating, but last time I was probably thinking around 3 for that. Right now it bumped its way up to like a 4. Might even go up to a 4.5. Depends on where this ends for the series, because I'm more than halfway done the second series, or season, not series. But if you have any recommendations, books or TV shows, let me know down below. Or movies, because I do not watch movies, and I actually don't like movies at all. So if you think you have a movie that might switch me over to liking movies more, free to recommendations. And yeah, I think that's everything. I don't know, I felt like not a lot this episode. And I also didn't buy anything at all, so good job me. Didn't buy any yarn. Actually, there was one thing that was a gift. Let me go grab it quickly. So I was buying a present for my friend who crochets. I got her like a little yarn tote bag. And while we were in Hobby Lobby, I saw a yarn winder. And lately, I've been finding the need for it, because I do now work with a lot of skeins of yarn, and winding it by hand can be pretty tedious. It's doable, like I've done it for quite a while, but I was getting kind of bored of it. So I asked my boyfriend, and he actually did buy it. He usually doesn't like when I ask him to give me presents. He got a yarn winder for me, and this is so nice. It is definitely bottom of the line. It was a very cheap one, but it's so useful. And I've been using this before I start projects to get my yarn into a center pole. Otherwise, my yarn is all over the place as I'm working, because I usually sit by my desk while I'm working, and usually while I'm pulling the balls, they fall off the desk. So I'm just working off the dirty floor as I'm knitting. So center poles are definitely great for that. Pretty sure that's all I got. Didn't get any yarn as present because everyone knows that I'm picky as all heck. Yeah, I didn't spend any money. My goal for 2023 is to work through my yarn stash as much as possible and to replace what I've used with higher quality yarn. So like, instead of just regular cotton, replace that with organic cotton yarn. So obviously as sales are going on, because I can't afford regular price. But yeah, that's everything this month. If you made it to the end of the video, let me know. I tend to ramble a lot, so who knows who stuck around. Aha. And yeah, I'll see you all next week for a regular video, and those who only care about the podcasts, I'll see you next month. Bye.